Okay, guys, today I am going to give you my New Hampshire spring trail running playbook. I love the White Mountains. The White Mountains are awesome. I'm working on my grid. Wouldn't say I'm a gritter, but I'm working on the grid. But in the spring, when conditions in the Whites get crazy, post-holy, melty, icy, dirt, the mixed bag, you got to bring an REI store with you to get up and down the mountains. I swerve a little bit. I swerve. I stay south. So over the last few years, I've explored a lot of different areas. Most of them are in New Hampshire. Some of them are in neighboring states. But I want to give you my playbook. Late March, definitely into April, early May. Where am I going to get good trail running? Because right now, I don't ski. And maybe this is the problem. A lot of people ski, so they like the snow and they get out in it. And honestly, I love winter trail running. In the White Mountains, when you get nice packed snowy trails, like winter trail running is awesome. But I'm over the snow. I'm over the pavement. I'm over the treadmill, the indoor bike. We all want this. We want rocks, we want roots, and we want dirt. So I'm going to give you the best spots I know of in the spring that I just love getting out at. I'll kind of it's going to be like maybe kind of like a review. A lot of these are pretty popular spots, but I'm just going to give you my rundown on where I go the next 2 months, the best places, because around me, there's some dirt, and I want to run on dirt. So there are some great places, and we'll go through all of them. At the end of the episode, we're going to do some trail race results. So we got a couple results from last weekend and a preview to next weekend's race. Last weekend, we had the Uphill Will 24-hour ski event. Not a backyard style, but as many laps as you can do in 24 hours. So that was a good event. And then the Fit Rock Trail Race, that happened last weekend. We'll go through those results. And then next weekend, on the ultra sign-up, it says one of the gnarliest, toughest ultras in the Northeast. So big talk, the Sleeping Giant Trail Race. There's actually a ton of people sign up for this race. It sounds like a good one, so we previewed that. That is all at the end of the episode. The new format is going to be, we'll always record in the truck. We need to get outside and do this podcast. But to have the results, the race information in front of me, I'm probably going to start recording that just indoors. But I think it'll let me do better previews, because the goal this year is to preview and talk about at least all of the New England ultra marathons and all the big mountain stuff. So there's a ton of races like May, June, July, August. When the trail season kicks off, there's going to be a ton of races. And so to do it in an organized fashion, if you want previews, if you want reactions to all the races, it's always going to be at the end of the episode. So skip ahead if you're looking for that, but stay tuned because we got some gems of absolute gems of the trail scene, trail locations, mountains, lots of good mountains in here. And I will say, this is more, I guess, mountain running, like looking for vert locations, because every town forest, every local trail system is going to be melted out. And like on the weekdays, easy runs, beautiful. Get out there. We're not going to highlight any town forests in this. This is going to be basically mountain running, mountains that you can go to that are on dirt and rocks before the whites have melted out during the shoulder season, because there's two reasons why I like to do it. One, go to these spots. One is just because we want to get off the ice and it's bad conditions. You got to bring a bunch of stuff. Is one. We want dirt. One. But two, if you're preparing for an ultra marathon or a mountain effort like June in the Whites, it's the longest. It's the best time. I mean, we haven't had good White Mountain trails in a while, so this is like the first opportunity to go after a big effort, FKT, whatever it may be, in June once it melts out. And longest days of the year, if you got long projects in the Whites, it's a good time for it. But to prepare for those efforts, if you're going to take them on in June, you got to be running on rock at least all of May. That's what I always say. at least 1 month of like technical, steep, rocky stuff. And so you're going to have to go to some of these spots if you want to be adequately prepared. I don't think running on rocks, I think it's a little bit of a skill that you can carry over the winter, but it takes a few runs to get up to speed on running on those just technical, gnarly sections. Every spring it is a shocker. Like, oh yeah, this is harder than I remember. This is slower than I remembered. So to get your technical feet under you before you tackle any big efforts in June, you're gonna want to hit some of these spots. So okay, we got the 60-second training tip. We're gonna make it 20 seconds today, super short, and then we're gonna get into this. No further ado. Is that the saying? No further ado. The 20-second training tip today is you should at least own, you don't have to wear it every day, but at least own a heart rate monitor. And don't go by your watch's wrist heart rate. It's just not accurate, even though the new ones are getting pretty good. Get a chest strap. I use a chest strap, or get an arm strap. There's some good arm straps that you can get that are less uncomfortable to wear. But you should be tracking heart rate and at least be familiar with where your heart rate and what your zones are on different runs. You gotta know if your easy run is actually easy or if it's harder than normal. It's a good thing to track. Get into the zones. Like, I wouldn't advocate just staring at your heart rate every run, but at least knowing what actually your easy runs, moderate runs, tempo runs, workouts are, and your heart rate at those efforts is very important for training. This turned into 60 seconds really fast, but I think it's important. Get yourself an actual strap so you know where you're running. And every few months, check in and make sure you're running in the right heart rate zones. It's going to help you out. Any questions, send me a message. Okay, we're jumping into the episode now. Without further ado, did I say that before? Yeah, I think I said that before. Was that the saying? I don't know if I mixed it up a little bit. Without further ado, the New Hampshire Spring Trail Running Playbook. So I'll give, this is going to be an honorable mention. This is probably past due, but one little local spot, and I actually hesitate. I can't believe I'm leading the episode with this, but I will do it. I kind of hesitate to say this, but one really good local peak in New Hampshire is Fort Mountain in Epsom. It's kind of you pull up, you're like, is this the trailhead? I don't know. Is this private? I don't know. You can hike it. It's a mile grade. It's about 600-700 feet of climbing. But the reason why Fort Mountain is so good, in the winter, trails can vary in conditions. It gets plowed, okay? So it's plowed all winter. So if you always want like very good, runnable, solid terrain for mountain repeats, go to Fort Mountain. And then because it's plowed all winter, in the spring, as soon as you get some warm days, boom, you're on dirt. So it is like the first mountain in New Hampshire, maybe, don't quote me on that is all dirt in the spring. And so that's like, honestly, like late February, early March, you can even have just dirt. I love Fort Mountain. Go to Fort Mountain. It's a good spot. So that's kind of like the honorable mention. That probably would have helped you guys out a couple weeks ago, but I just thought of the video for this week. So use it next year. And one thing about Fort Mountain that I will say, it's a great little spot. I've been there dozens of times, if not more. I had one run-in one time with a couple dogs that were mean and they kind of wanted to bite you. I was running one morning and two dogs just came out of nowhere. A German Shepherd and a mean-looking lab just came out fired up, running through the woods out of nowhere at me. Nobody with them, and they came up and they were hairs on their back, barking at me 5 feet, and I just stood there and I was like, "Oh my God, don't light me up." They didn't like end up biting or nipping at me or anything, but they're kind of mean. So it kind of spoopy. I don't like when you're running and a dog doesn't know you're there and then sees you running and you're on it quick. They freak out. So I don't like that. I don't like running into dogs that are untrained or off leash or you're in the secluded area and they kind of go at you. So it's not fun. So I've never seen them before. This is just a note. But one of my buddies who goes there's a lot, he has seen the dogs a couple times, and this winter I've seen and he's seen, you pull up to Fort Mountain, a little bit of fresh snow, and in the morning, 2 sets of tracks come down and sniff out the beginning of Fort Mountain, and then they go off back to where they live. I think there was the house nearby. So Fort Mountain's awesome. If you go in the morning, beware of dogs. If you have a dog, keep your dog on a leash. Beware of dogs because there's a couple mean dogs over there. I don't know. Maybe they're just vocal, but they were kind of mean. So that's the first thing, Fort Mountain. And to preface this, do I have to cut this out, man? I still kind of stink at podcasting sometimes. But okay, so that was the honorable mention. Before we get into the full list, I'll say this. I am thinking of like the New Hampshire Spring Trail Running Playbook. I would assume a lot of the people who listen to the podcast are from New Hampshire, Massachusetts, kind of central New England, and that's where the majority of people live. Boston, obviously very dense, the suburbs of Boston. Manchester, southern New Hampshire is very populated. And so that is going to be kind of like the central range of probably an hour to 2 hours any direction from there. So if you're in northern New Hampshire, if you're in northern Maine, I kind of apologize. You're probably not going to be able to get to these spots, but some of them are probably accessible to most people in central New England. Without further ado, the first location, we're going to go two Massachusetts location spots. The first being the Middlesex Fells Reservation. I mean, this could be snow-free all of winter just because it's near Boston, depending on the snow this year. The snow in the winter, it's usually snow-free very early. You get a couple warm days, there's usually no snow. And the Middlesex Fells, it's super popular. This might be one of the most hiked spots in the world, right? Because Boston's so dense. Is that a thing? Because Monadnock is one of the most hiked spots. Is this the most visited trail section? I don't know. Every time I go there's a billion people. But the Skyline Loop in the Fells, it's 7.5 miles, 1,300 feet. They do the Tark races there, the Winter Fells race. A lot of people probably know of it. That is a very, very good trail system to run on for vert. I mean, 1,300 feet, it's not the most amount of vert. But for Boston, right outside of Boston, that's beautiful for 7 miles. You do it twice, you get almost 3,000 feet of gain. And that thing is pretty technical. I remember the first time I went to the Fells, I had been doing a lot of stuff in the Whites, and I was like, oh, the Fells should be easy. You know, this is Boston. This is easy trails. I'm going to be flying around out there. And I was like, oh, man, this is pretty rocky, pretty technical. It is not your classic town, forest, local trails. Like that loop, the Skyline Loop in particular, has some very steep sections, some short climbs, some short descents, but lots of rocks. And so that's a good place to get your feet comfortable on rocks. You're going to get some faster miles there, which is probably good after a winter of doing a lot of who knows what you've been doing. Turn the legs over a little bit. Go to the Middlesex Fells. It's a great spot. I usually go from the north end, but I think there's a bunch of segments on where you can go from. If you park at the north section of the Fells, it is not that far. Like I drive to the Whites, hour 15, hour and a half. It's kind of like the shortest drive. When I go to the Fells, it's like 45 minutes. It's pretty close because there's so many highways. On the weekend, you got to hope there's not much traffic, but it's a great spot to go to. Shout out to the Fells. It's very popular. Like I said, 1 billion people. I counted once. It was 1 billion. Check me on it. Lots of people. Every time I go there, it feels like there's some sort of class trip or just 1 million of similar people. I don't know. It's so insane how many people go there. Obviously, it's outside of Boston, so I wouldn't say it's the quietest area. I'm sure regular fell goers know of like the better trails because the trail system is just insane. Like you could probably do like 200 miles there without touching the same trail. Now it's a joke, but there's a ton of trails that weave and meander. So there's probably some quieter trails, but in general, there's going to be a lot of people there. A lot of dogs. Again, talking about dogs, there's some mean dogs out there. I've had some encounters with mean dogs in the Fells. Because when you're there, it's kind of like, it's like when you walk in New York City. Everyone there is so used to so many people that they just ignore you. Like, I think I like a trail system where you don't see a lot of people, but everyone you see, you're saying hi to because it's, kind of friendly. It's good. But when there's so many people, you can't say hi to everybody. That's a lot. But the Fells is a good spot to get that first bit of dirt. Next up, the other Massachusetts location we're going to say is Wachusett. I mean, very popular. It's very popular in the winter skiing. I've only been there a couple times, but you can get 1,000-foot climb in only a couple miles up Wachusett. It's on the Mid-States Trail, so it's very well maintained. And Wachusett, the skiers, and everyone goes there so much. I'm sure all the other trails are maintained too. Very popular, but it's a good option. I think they have an auto road. I'm pretty sure they have an auto road. I don't know if it's paved or if it's dirt, but they have a road for faster miles. You can get some more runnable stuff in. Wachusett is a great option. That is probably like Central Mass's perfect mountain for repeats, and I'm sure lots of people go out there and do repeats. So if you're going to Mass, if it's very early in March, the first two plays are going to be the Fells and Wachusett. You're going south. And I always think like, I just like going north, and I'm not as much of a city person, so sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I want to go south. It's a shorter drive than if you're going north. It's great trail running down there. So don't knock it. Go south if you want that first dirt. Those are the Massachusetts plays for the trail running scene. Get some vert in. Okay, now we're going to move up to New Hampshire. We're going to go to southern New Hampshire. So obviously, you do 1 or 2 weekends in Mass. By the time that those, you do a couple weekends, a couple weeks go by, you're going to migrate up a little bit because the stuff is melted. And now southern New Hampshire is all melted out. So we're going to go over some of the best locations in southern New Hampshire to get on dirt, to get on mountain terrain. The Uncanoonucs. I mean, home turf. Love the Uncanoonucs. That's where I go, all times of the year, but especially in the spring when they first melt out, the Uncanoonucs are beautiful. You got White Dot, which is off of Mountain Road. It's a little bit over a half mile, and you get 750 feet of climbing. It's like 21% grade. It's technical. It's rocky. It is good vert. That trail is amazing. I don't know how many repeats I've done there. I've done a bunch of them, but that trail is amazing. The White Dot at the Uncanoonucs is awesome for vert and rocky stuff. If you're prepping for something in the whites, that's as good of a trail as you got around that Manchester area. White Dot. You can go Crescent Lane. You can go south Uncanoonuc and do the Crescent Lane climb. That's more of loose gravel. It was like an old railroad bed or something, I'm pretty sure. I don't even know. Railroad? Can a railroad go? I don't know what it is. It's an old, at least road of some sort, so it's kind of gravelly. It's not as rocky. It's a little steeper. It's more monotonous, I guess, than White Dot, but it's still good vert, about the same stats. So those are two very, very good options if you want to get out in the Uncanoonucs. And all the other trails are awesome too. Like the Uncanoonucs is a spot where you got runnable, you have steep hikey, you have rocky, technical, non-technical, off the beaten path, on the beaten path if you want to see people. There's lots of parking. You can park in the middle of the two on Mountain Road. You can park at White Dot. You can park at the South Uncanoonuc climb. The Uncanoonucs have the auto road. So they have, I talked about it last episode. That's the road that I ran. That had a lot of action in early May. But the auto road is a mile climb, 500 feet of, a mile. Yeah, it's a mile long, 500 feet of climbing. So it's a great spot to go to start getting that runnable vert in. And yeah, love the Uncanoonucs. Can't shout the Uncanoonucs out enough. Go to Uncanoonucs. Give it a try. In the same general region, same general time frame, we're going to go to Pawtuckaway State Park. If you haven't been to Pawtuckaway, Pawtuckaway is a great place. This is less vert, like I would say it's less vert punchy than the Uncanoonucs, but you still get a good amount of vert. So there's a loop that I do. If you do the loop where you hit all three mountains, it's like the north, middle, and south. South has the fire tower. You hit all the peaks, and you do kind of like a big loop with a little twist when you hit the middle mountain. You get 9 to 10 miles, 2,000 feet of climbing. And again, it's pretty rocky. It's pretty rooty. Like the North Ridge, very technical. There are some sections where it's like if you go in the fall, you got to watch out because there's leaves everywhere, rocks everywhere. The up to the fire tower is fairly technical. Middle mountain is less technical but more runnable, kind of like easy grassy terrain, rolling hills terrain. It's incredible. It's a good spot. It's very quiet. Every time I go there, I'm extremely pleased. So if you're looking for a more runnable spot where you can get like running vert in as opposed to hiking vert, Pawtuckaway is a great option. Do that full route. The fire tower also, we'll talk a little bit of the fire tower. It's pretty cool. I don't know how many fire towers have this, but it has a map. I forget if it's like on the top or on each of the sides, where it shows you what mountain peaks you can see from all around the fire tower. And there's a ton of them. There's always more peaks to see. So you got good views, you got good information. It's a good spot to go. Again, I had a dog encounter there. I mean, I don't want to make this like just you run into dogs everywhere, but I feel like in the southern trails, it's just more. I don't know why. Maybe more walkers out, more near populated areas, so more people have dogs. I don't know. No, the two dogs lived at the barn that I went by. But there's one kind of like old logging road that was running up, and this big white puffy dog. What do they call those dogs? I forget exactly what they call those dogs. But this big white puffy dog came running at me, and he had a German Shepherd as a friend. And that one I remember they wanted to nip me. And I think I stood behind a tree. Because they were coming at me. Oh man, yeah. They kept following me. Oh man, I don't know. I don't mess with dogs, like untrained dogs off leash. I don't like them. Let me run. But okay. That was Pawtuckaway, the Resolution, the Fire Lap. Yeah, I think we hit all the big ones on Pawtuckaway. It's a good little spot. It's in what town is that in? I don't know if it's off 101. If you're going down 101 between the coast, Portsmouth, and Manchester. And then one thing, I actually have never been here. Oh, what is it? Tuckaway Tavern. I love a good burger. I haven't had a good burger in a while. I love a good burger, and apparently they have some of the best burgers. Guy Fieri went there. That's how I know the Guy Fieri diners, drive-ins, and dives. So it's got to be good. So if you're in the area and you did a really long run, maybe you did a hard effort, go stop and get a burger. I don't want to put bad thoughts in your brain, but go stop and get a burger. But Pawtuckaway is a great spot to go. And then the last of these three southern New Hampshire, not super big, kind of more runnable stuff is going to be the Wapack Range. A lot of people are already getting out on the Wapack Range anyway, so if you're doing Wapack and back, one of those races, the one way or the out and back or the 50 miler, that race by Tark in May, very popular, you're probably training on the Wapack. But the Wapack is a great spot. I haven't been there a ton. I've been there a couple times, I should say. No, not a handful. Only between the northern terminus and Pack Monadnock, that section, either going from the northern terminus or from Pack Monadnock. That section is very punchy and very good. It kind of reminds me of the Uncanoonucs, but instead of having to do repeats, you can just run the range. The climbs aren't huge. The climbs are not very big. I don't think they even max out at 1,000 feet, so less than that. But they're pretty punchy, so you get a little bit of steep stuff. You get some running on slabs, which is super nice. Like, that's going to prep you for mountain stuff. Rocky technical, it's probably, I would say, a little bit more rocky and a little bit more technical than the Uncanoonucs. So if you're prepping for White Mountain stuff and you want to get some more rocky stuff, go there. And it's very quiet. I would assume Pack Monadnock is pretty busy. Like the park in there is pretty big and a lot of people go there. But if you go on the other sections of the Wapack Range, like I think Wachusett and Pack Monadnock are probably the biggest, most popular mountains on that range. But if you go to the other sections of it, it's punchy, it's more quiet. It kind of has that White Mountains feel of kind of mossy up top. You got the evergreens. It's a good time. It's a very good time, and it's a little bit more quiet. That is another go-to spot in southern New Hampshire. So I would say late March, early April, though that's where I'm staying in, that range right there. Southern New Hampshire, we're going to try Pawtuckaway for a weekend. We're going to go to the Wapack, and we're going to the Uncanoonucs. And if you're just doing weekend trips, excursions, that passes a couple weeks, snow's melted, you get to go the next level up. So that is level 2 of the playbook. I should have said there's levels to this playbook. I'm still not good at podcasting, but I'm trying to get better. Third, I think it's maybe I just don't have my brain just kind of rapid fires in different directions. So I kind of jump in. I'm like, oh, I should have set this up better, but it's okay. Next level. So after you do that, by this time, and again, I actually went there yesterday. So we'll do a trip report, the trail conditions we'll do the trail conditions as I speak about it. But this is definitely a late April, early May kind of spot. Mount Monadnock. The most popular, the most hiked mountain in the U.S., one of the most hiked mountains in the world. Everyone knows Monadnock. It just rises up out of nowhere. I always think the view from Monadnock is crazy. Usually when you're on these mountains and you're looking at other mountains, you can see other mountains, you can see other ranges. Monadnock, you get up and it's just flat all the way around it. It's like a tectonic plate just came up with a big uppercut. Boom, Mount Monadnock, done. I don't know how it happened, but Mount Monadnock's pretty epic. Good views up there. That was one of my first hikes. Should I do a first hike story? Yeah, I'll do a first hike story. Me and a couple buddies go up there for sunrise. This might have been my second hike. My first hike was Monadnock, and I remember asking my buddy, I was like, what do you see up? Like, what does it look like up there? This was in high school, so I didn't hike before this. And I was like, you can just see far? He's like, yeah, you can just see far. I'm like, wow, that is so cool. So get up there and do that hike. And then we're like, wow, guys, we should do a sunrise hike on Monadnock. So we plan to do a sunrise hike on Monadnock. We sleep in the car for a little bit one night, and we fly up White Dot. Okay, we're like, I don't know. We all played sports in high school. We were fairly fit, but not like running fit. But we boot up Mount Monadnock maybe 45 minutes. We did not time it good. We get up to the top of Monadnock, and it's cold. There's no sign of the sun. It's dark, and we're freezing. We don't even have sweatshirts. I remember, we must have had long sleeves maybe, but I remember in one of our packs, and it must have been like, well, it's one of these days where it's probably, below freezing wind chill in the middle of summer. So we get up there, and I remember there's this big, if you go to Monadnock a lot, there's the summit nail or whatever you call it, the survey mark or the survey whatever. You pretty much, if you jump down from that, there's a big rock, and there's kind of like a wall where it's kind of a 90-degree right angle wall. And all of us were huddled in that wall because the wind was coming a certain direction, and we're huddled 1, 2, 3 together. I mean, really trying to keep warm with each other because we still want to see sunrise. We could have just ran out of there. It's not like, but we're huddled in there, and I remember that there was a rotation. So the inside person was pretty comfortable. They didn't have any wind, and they got a little bit of body warmth. The second person was comfortable, a little less comfortable, but they were in between two people. The third person was freezing. So we had to cycle. Every few minutes, the inside person had to go to the outside person shifted. But the outside person, we had one extra long sleeve shirt. So the outside person put their long sleeve shirt over the knees. So that was their one kind of protection. Then you got to buddy up. We ended up getting some cool pictures from that hike, and I remember it was fun. It probably wasn't scary cold, but it was very cold, and I remember we had to do that rotation up on Mount Monadnock. Because it's a big mountain. Mount Monadnock is legit. And so speaking of the climb, so I think it's a little under 2 miles, 1.75 miles up White Dot. You get 1,800 feet of climbing. There's 4 main trails. You got the White Dot, you got White Arrow, Marlboro, and Pumpelly. If you go to White Dot, that's the most popular trail. It is shocking how popular that is. I went yesterday on a Friday, and there's a ton of people out. I mean, I would assume most people know it's pretty icy there. The conditions weren't great, but there were still a ton of people there, which is crazy. But anyway, you go to White Dot, you're going to have to pay, and you're going to have a lot of people there. So those are just kind of the caveats. But the White Dot Trail is one of the steepest, most technical trails outside of the Whites, maybe anywhere. Like, every time I go to the White Dot and some of the other trails that we'll talk about, the technicality and the steepness of the trail is shocking how good it is and how much it replicates the White Mountains. Like, it's even more technical than some of these White Mountain trails. So it is an awesome spot to go. No wonder why these Monadnock guys are so fast. There is a crew of Monadnock guys and girls. I mean, I'm just saying generally, Monadnock crushers, they all rip. They can rip. If you can rip at Monadnock, you can rip anywhere. So I feel like Monadnock just breeds crazy good mountain runners. But yeah, it is not shocking that you can get almost as good as anything you can get in the Whites. You don't have as long of a climb, but the Rocky Technical is right there. The White Arrow is a little bit less of a grade. The top is a little steeper. It's a little technical up there, but I wouldn't say the lower portion, it's kind of lower grade, so it's not as technical, but it's still very rocky. This is a step up over the Wapack, Uncanoonucs, Pawtuckaway, no doubt. The Marlboro Trail is very steep and technical. Again, I go over there and I'm like, wow, this trail is pretty good. This is punchy over here. I'm shocked because I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to Monadnock for the day. Monadnock for the day is not, Monadnock is legit. And then Pumpelly is a longer, lower grade, a longer approach. So if you want more runnable stuff, you're trying to get something runnable in. But you got slabs, you got some good technicality in there. It is good. I think Pumpelly and Marlboro, you don't have to pay if you go to those trailheads. I think White Arrow, you don't have to pay longer than you don't have to pay at White Dot, but you eventually have to pay. All good options. Monadnock is awesome. When I'm training for an ultra in the Whites in June, see me at Monadnock in May. This Monadnock is the best place to go to replicate the White Mountains, maybe in New England. Like, I'm serious. It is that good. Like I said, you don't get the full climbs. It's a little bit less of a climb, but it's not like you're doing, you're not doing a bunch of repeats like the Uncanoonucs 600, 700-foot climbs. 1,700 feet in a climb, that's pretty good. You do 2 of those, and that's climbing up the biggest mountains. So Monadnock is awesome. I mean, I just don't have as much, I don't have, there's not enough things I could say good about Monadnock. Is that, there is a saying that I'm trying to say, but I just couldn't say it. So that was the Monadnock. And the trail conditions, we'll do a quick trail report on the trail conditions at Monadnock. So I went yesterday, Friday, and I was maybe just a little ambitious. Like, this warm-up, I think, just got everyone a little bit ambitious because it's cooled right back down. I should have just went to the Whites. It turned out the Whites trail conditions were actually pretty good. I just didn't want all the postholes and the ice covered up by that couple inches of snow they got, but they turned out pretty good. But anywho, Monadnock, I would say like a quarter of the trail is still ice, and it's not like monorail. It's like ice for most of it. I wore studded trail runners, and it was enough. I definitely kind of had to balance it, kind of make my way a handful of areas. In some areas, I just kind of had to run slowly on the ice. But yeah, still fairly good and still good to get out on the rocks. My thought process for going to Monadnock instead of the Whites was I'd rather see the ice than not see the ice / post holes with the couple inches of snow. So that's where I went there, and I had a good day. It was beautiful weather out there. Yeah, but it's gonna be icy for a couple more weeks there. Like, yeah, I would April probably until that trail is clear of ice. There's some big ice still, and I don't think it's gonna get super warm. That's the problem. It's melting a little bit, but it's not melting enough. The next 2 weeks are still pretty cold. So, but I'll definitely be going back to Monadnock in the next couple months. Okay, we graduated from southern New Hampshire. Now we're going north. We go north with the weather, with the snow. We're going north. So the next spot that I want to highlight on the list, the next game plan. So you get the southern Whites. You go to Monadnock a couple times. Now the southern kind of area of the Whites, the Lakes region, is getting melted out. The first spot I'm going, the Ossipees. Great mountains. 2 of the mountains are on 52 with a view, so it's not. These are no secret mountains, but the Ossipee Range is amazing. It's different than the Whites, so it's not steep and rocky, it's not very technical, but it's low grade, a lot of kind of snowmobile-esque trails, just dirty, rocky, no, not rocky, dirty, grassy is what I was trying to say. Not technical, but once in a while, that's awesome to run on. So I love getting out there. Like once a spring is perfect. I think it melts out quicker than the Belknaps, which is the next one I'm going to talk about, because most of the trails are south-facing, at least the mountains, and it's more hardwood, so there's more sun getting to the trail. So the Ossipees usually melts out before the Belknaps. So that's why I go there first. You have Mount Roberts and Mount Shaw. These are both on the 52 with a view. Mount Roberts is 2,600 feet, and Mount Shaw is 2,990, so almost 3,000. So if you go to Mount Roberts, you can park at Castle in the Clouds. If you go up towards Mount Shaw, you just drive further down the road. There's a little parking area with not a ton of parking, but it's still good. And you can put together a 50K here with lots of vert, runnable vert in without touching a single trail twice. It's a big range. It's lots of that 10 to 15% switchbacky dirt. And I love running there. There's beautiful views out to the lake. I always say this, but I love a view that's kind of in your face. I don't like seeing a mountain way off. I like a view in your face. The lake is right in your face. You can see the Belknap Mountains. You can see up into the Whites. It's a great spot. It's a good spot to go. It's a good mix-up. Again, these are all kind of like trying to get more runnable stuff in. I wouldn't say these are super, like, it's not like a Monadnock. It's kind of more like the Uncanoonucs, very runnable stuff, but it's good, and it's not super popular. Like, I'm sure the 52 with the views are pretty popular, but the rest of the trails, if you go up Mount Roberts and then you go off the backside, it's very quiet. You only see a few people back there, which is awesome. So the Ossipees is where I'm going next. And then with the Ossipees, kind of, looped into the same loop, put in the same bag here. I'm having a bad talking day. The Belknaps. So this is another one in the Lakes region. It's similar. You can get similar gain. So I think the climbs are about the same vertical gain as the Ossipees, but they're steeper. The Belknaps are good. I love the Belknaps. The Belknaps competes with the Whites in terms of like some of my favorite trails. I probably like them more than the Ossipees. I probably like them more than Monadnock just because there's more kind of range there. But the Belknaps are awesome. None of them are on 52 with a view, right? I think they're not tall enough. Like, all the mountains are between 2,000 and 2,500 feet. So Gunstock, Belknap, Piper, Sweat, Mount Major. They're all between, just lower, so they don't get as, I don't know, I guess they don't make the 52 with the view list, but you get awesome views there. It's steep. You have a mix of everything. I think the Belknaps are like the Uncanoonucs on steroids. You get that, like, mossy, evergreen, top of a 4,000-footer feel in the Belknaps, but then you can also get runnable stuff. You can get slabs like you have Monadnock. You can get steep stuff. You can get some automobile roadie things, snowmobile trail. You get some in between Major and the other big mountains. You get some remote trails, some flatter stuff, some runnable stuff. You have Mount Major, which is like popular, kind of like a Mount Monadnock. It's a good steep trail with lots of technical. The Belknaps are awesome, and they're lesser known. Everyone just drives past the Belknaps. They're doing lists, they're doing Whites, and the Belknaps are as close to as good as you can get for mountain running. So every time I go there, that's probably one of my favorite non-White Mountains places to run. It's just awesome. 1,500 feet in a climb, straight up, straight down. You can do the chicken foot. You can go to Gunstock, and you can run down the dirt road there if you want to get faster vert, good vert there on dirt. It's great. They melt out a little bit later than the Ossipees just because it is kind of greener, and some of the big trails are not south facing, which gets just sun a little bit later. It's just more shady, I think it is. It's steeper, so you don't want to get there too early, because if you get in the Belknaps with lots of ice, it's like you're in the ice, the Whites with lots of ice. But the Belknaps are good. That's one where if you don't care as much about, no, I would say the Belknaps, that's going to prep you for White Mountain efforts. Monadnock's definitely more technical, so if you want that just pure, I'm just trying to run on rocks, get prepped for the summer, go to the Monadnock. But if you want kind of quieter, different range of trails, go to the Belknaps, guys. The Belknaps is amazing. I mean, I like all these spots, but the Belknaps really is a gem. You got to check them out. If you haven't done a bunch of time in the Belknaps, do a bunch of time in the Belknaps. And that is the pre-White Mountains level. So what was that level? You got level 1 Massachusetts, level 2 Southern New Hampshire, low peaks. Level 3 was Monadnock. Is solely just level 3. Go to Monadnock. Level 4 is the Ossipees and Belknaps. Level 5, the White Mountains, but not the 4,000 footers, like the first thing in the Whites you can run. The Moats. The Moats is usually my first White Mountains run back. South Moat is south facing. It's mostly hardwoods. It melts out first. It's, I think, 3,500 feet, so it's not a 4,000 footer, but pretty good. It's fairly popular, but it's really good. And if you do an out and back on the Moats, you get 10 miles, 4,000 feet of gain. What more could you ask for from a mountain run? 10 miles, 10,000 feet of gain. The Moats are the best. I mean, that's like one of the best early White Mountains places to go, and I always go there. Like usually I'll run at the Moats, and then after I go and check out White Lakes Ultra. So this is like an early May kind of spot. Sometime in May, we'll go to the Moats. I've been to the Moats 2 weekends in a row, maybe even 3. No, probably not 3, but I've been 2 weekends in a row. It's that good. It's White Mountains. I mean, in between South Moat, Middle Moat, North Moat is just, you're like, oh, I remember mountain running is the best. This is awesome. And it is tough. It is steep and slow going. It's definitely, if you haven't been on that stuff in a while, you remember, oh, this is hard to run on. So that's a good one. And then we'll do 2 other level 5 White Mountain shoutouts. Table Mountain. I don't even know if I've actually been there in May, so this is like fake news, but Table Mountain is one of my best favorite views in the Whites. I think it's on 52 with a view. It's 2,600 feet, so I'm assuming it's pretty, I don't know, I would just assume that it's pretty melted out, one of the first ones melted out. It's off of Bear Notch Road, and it's just a gem. And you could do, if this is like all the Jigger Johnson course, but you could do the Moats to Big Ad attached to Table, do a traverse with a buddy, or do an out and back if you're crazy and looking for like a Pemi Loop-esque 30-mile banger right from the get-go in the trail season. Go to Table Mountain. And then the last one, Mount Chocura. Southern, it's just like a 4,000 footer. It's classic White Mountains. It melts out fairly quickly first, like I've been up there with just small patches of snow in May. Yeah, definitely, I think in May. It's a good spot to go to, Mount Chocura. And once you've run at the Moats and Mount Chocura, for a couple weekends, it's almost June, and the rest of the Whites are melted out, and you have free reign in the White Mountain National Forest. So that is pretty much my playbook of where I go in the spring seasons. If you were to, I kind of do the same playbook in the fall. Hopefully I shouldn't like repeat this. If I really need some podcast ideas in the fall, maybe I repeat this. But in the fall, the playbook would just be this reversed. During the shoulder season, it's like, November, you start getting to Ossabee's, Belknaps. Maybe December, you're more at the Southern New Hampshire, Uncanoonucs, Monadnock. Maybe not even Monadnock because it's too long. And then once December, you get some good snow of the Whites. You don't even probably have to go to Mass. The fall playbook is no Mass. The snow is already up north. You go back up north, and then it's winter trail running season. But those are some of the gems that I like to go to outside of the White Mountains. I'm working on the grid, but I'm not a gridder. I think some people definitely who listen to this are probably hardcore list people or grid people, so they're not going to get to enjoy this probably as much as others. But I'm telling you, I urge you, get out in these areas. It's just a good, I don't know. I like going up to the White Mountains. There's so many different trails up there, but it's just good to check out different areas once in a while when conditions aren't as good up north. Like, I just think if you pick days where conditions aren't good up north and go to other areas on those weekends, my trail running satisfaction is just off the charts. You know what I mean? So pick and choose up north in the shoulder season. Go on NewHampshireTrailConditions.com. It's awesome how many people post there. I've been posting there this winter, and I'll just keep posting there, giving people trail conditions. But look at the trail reports, and if the conditions aren't good this spring, check out some of these spots. Maybe you'll run into me. I'm going to be there. This is like, I'm so excited. The next month is, the opportunities are endless. Trail season is here. It's getting warmer. We're running on dirt and rocks. It is just, it can't be beat. So the other thing is, don't blink. Do not blink, folks. If you are listening to this, don't blink, because it's going to go by quick. All winter, I've been thinking of, I just want to grab my shorts and my shoes and go for a run. It is here. It is almost here. We're going to be running on dirt. The weather's getting better. The trails are opening up. Training blocks are coming together. Races are getting here. Race plans are being executed on. It's a great time. And one PSA to everybody. This is kind of more going at me too, because I was it last year or the year before I did this? No, I think it was last year. If you have your snow brush or a small shovel or what's a little scraper, an ice scraper? I don't know. What is that called? If you have that in your car right now, leave it in your car. Do not touch it. Last year, we had a good, beautiful stretch of weather, and I remember I took that snow brush, I took that ice thing out, and we had snow for 2 weeks. We had 2 weeks of snow. In April, it was snowing. Do not get cocky, do not get greedy, and do not put any bad juju or any jinxes on this trail season. I'm just going to repeat this one more time. If you have your snow brush in your car, leave it in your car until May. It's just a tiny little thing. Put it in the back, put it under a seat. Don't move it, because if you move that snow brush and it snows, I'm just going to be sad, okay? I'm sad. I'm good with snow for the year. Snow has gone. We'll see you next year. I'm actually almost fully serious. I feel like, I don't know. Am I superstitious? I'm a little stitious. I'm definitely stitious. For sure, I'm stitious. But it does feel like, you do some of those small things, you're like, it doesn't really, the universe can't really hear you. And I think it does. So let's just all do a favor. No, keep the snow brush until May. We're going to hit some of these great spots in the next, we're here. We're on dirt for the rest of the year. If you follow this playbook, you will be on dirt for the next 6, 7, 8 months. That's beautiful. Okay, that is all I had for today. As far as this talk, we're going to bounce into the trail results. There are some good races. There are some good results here, so stick around. I'm excited to start going through all these different events. I think, like I said, we're doing a new format. I'm going to get better of how I go through events and how I report on them. So bear with me as we start kind of ramping up the trail season here. We're going to try to shout out as many people as we can. We're going to hopefully not snub a ton of people, but ultimately it's going to happen. But here are the race results. Boom. Okay, guys. I'm doing a little bit different of a setup. This is how we're going to do the results and the race previews going forward. I got to just have my laptop in front of me so we can have all the results. I can get the good info, all that jazz. So this is not going to be outdoors, but we're always going to do the first part of the podcast outdoors and then interviews if that's the case. But yeah, let's jump into these races. So we got 2 results to go through, and then we're going to preview one race. So the first race we're going to talk about is the Trustrength Uphill Will 24-hour Skimo race. So we did a preview for this. It's kind of like last year's standing, except instead of a backyard style event, you just have 24 hours to go up and down the mountain as fast as you can. So it's in Greenwood, Maine. I think the same mountain. Does it say here? Mount Abram in Greenwood. Okay, so Mount Abram in Greenwood, Maine. A lot of people that go there to do skiing and stuff. So I think it's a popular destination. But so they had this vertical challenge, and we'll just get right into the results. Again, I didn't know too much about this. I think I did a quick preview, and to be honest, I will just give myself credit here. I think I said, there were some big hitters from last year standing. Justin Lagasse, one of the people that I saw on the list, he had the course record. He came back this year, and he won it again. So Justin Lagasse wins. He goes 42 laps. So I believe each lap is 1,000 feet. So 42,000 feet in 24 hours. I don't know how long the distance is, but each lap's 1,000 feet. So he did 42,000. His course record is 44,000, and that was in 2022. So that was the first year it started. This is the 5th year. He still has that course record, but Justin wins it. Second and third place men is Mark Trahan, 49. shout out, 40. He went 40 laps. And then Chance Simonton, he's from Plymouth, 33. He went 35 laps. So that was, okay, so three. Okay, hold on. 3 people tied for 3 because I guess, yeah, they just counted by how many laps that you did. So 3 people did 35 laps. Chance Simonton, he's listed first. Don't know what that means. Lawrence Pereira and then Samson Alley. They all did 35 laps. I know, like in the White Lake Ultra races, if you do the same number of laps but you come in before the other person, they get the priority spot. I don't know if that's how they listed it, but they all got 3rd place finishes in the results, so it sounds like they just tied. So that was the top 3 men. And then top 3, so the female, TJ Farnham wins it. She does 30 laps, and she's 49. Holy smokes, shout out. Miltontown, Maine. A lot of these people are from Maine. She did 30 and she wins it. 2nd place female does 25, Tracy Thainer. So this is that's a decent gap, but still, I mean, 25 laps over 1 an hour. And then Brielle Weinstein from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She does 20 laps. She's the 3rd place female. Actually, there's a lot of people from PA in this list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. 10 people from Pennsylvania, a lot of people from Maine. I mean, New Hampshire, Vermont, Mass. There's always going to be people from New England sprinkled in, but those were the results. And that was from the vertical challenge. So apparently there were 3 different challenges: the vertical challenge, and then a 4-person relay and a 2-person relay. So we'll go to the 4-person relay results. Not much of a race here. 1 team, #LG space MEC. They did a distance of 33 minutes and 41 seconds. That's how it's listed. I have no idea what that means. It wasn't a tight race. There was 1 person in the race, but shout out to LGMEC. And then the 2-person relay, again, 1 team, the Golden Goober and the Forehead Expansion Project. Yeah, that is crazy. Is one of those one of them is potentially a golden goober and the other one has a small forehead? Is that what the Forehead Expansion Project? I don't know, but they did a distance of 35 minutes 6 seconds. I have no idea what these mean, but that was the results. I mean, we could go to the website and see if they explain the relay here, but I don't know. I'm noticing a lot of these. Nah, it doesn't really say. A lot of these race websites are very like old riggedy-tiggedy. I don't know. So yeah, we can't see that. But those are the results. And did they list? Okay, female. Whoa. Okay, a little bit of a shocker here, people. So TJ Farnham wins it. She won last year, so she goes back to back. She won in 2025. She comes back and wins in 2026. Last year, she did 27. This year, she did 30, but she does not have the course record. There's 1 person ahead of her that has the course record here. In 2023, Brianna Karboski. She did 32 laps, so she has the course record, last game standing, and the course record at the Trustrength Uphill Will 24-hour Skimo. I mean, just dominant performance. I mean, TJ Farnham's on here 2024. She did 21. So wait, let's look at her ultrasonic actually. Yeah, she's won it 3 years in a row. Okay, 2023 she comes in 3rd, and then 2024, 2025, 2026, TJ Farnham wins it. A 3-peat. The hardest thing to do in sports, a 3-peat. I'm gonna get better at going through these results, but yeah, I'll learn about it. But okay, she came in 5th at the Chocura Mountain race in 2019. Shout out. Where's she from? Does it say? TJ Farnham. Oh, Milltop, Maine. Anywho, she goes 3-peats. Neil Clausen's in here. He's a mountain running stud and skiing stud. Yeah, so I guess that was the relay, and we are really just also another thing that's catching my eye right now, another thing catching my eye. Oh no, I was mistaken. Never mind. Scratch that. Move on. Okay. This is the first. Is this the first read results in the chair? So I'm gonna get better at this. But all right, that was a Trustrength Uphill Will Skimo race. And then the other race I wanted to go through, it was the F.I.T 12-hour ultra marathon in Cumberland, Rhode Island. It was a 5K, a 5 mile, and an ultra marathon. I just don't think I can go through every 5K and 5 mile results in the land. So we're just gonna stick with the ultra results here because there's just so many of them. But first place men, Martin Mitchell, he wins it in a total time of 10 hours and 55 seconds. Okay, well that's total time, but this is a all right. Yeah, what do I have? The F.I.T, it's a 50K? Is that right? We got to go back to info. I was not prepared for this. Yeah, it says 12-hour ultra. Okay, so all right, so I'm just gonna go with my gut. No, I'm gonna see what I say. It was listed as a 50K, but this just says ultra. It's a 12-hour ultra, folks. Okay, so he ran for 10 hours and 55 seconds, but he did 10 laps. So he is the winner. First place female also did 10 laps. She only finished 3 seconds behind Martin Mitchell. That is Katerina Kudelkova. Okay, so they're the two winners within 3 seconds of each other. So this is like I was saying with the lapped, like White Lakes Ultra. If you do the same amount of laps, but you come in first, you win. So Martin and Katerina comes in first male, first female. And then second overall, third overall, both male, Ross Minkov and Peter Panagietis. They both did 10 laps, but came in 11:25, 11:36. And then the second and third overall female, Farah Douglas, she goes 8 laps, 9 hours, 16 minutes. And then Kylie Polcook, she goes 6 laps. She did a little bit under 6 hours. So that was the F.I.T. results. And then also they had a team result as well. So here's the team for the F.I.T. Again, a one-person teamed ultra marathon race. So there was no race here. The Mizzonis were going home with the gold either way, but Krista and Craig Mizzoni, they did a total time of 18 hours and a total lap count of 17. And so they win it. No competition. They win it. Good job. First place. That's the best. If you sign up for a race with 3 or less people in it, guaranteed podium. Guaranteed podium. My first ultra. I mean, 4 people were signed up, but 2 people ran it. I came in second. Guaranteed podium. So those are the F.I.T results. Boom, we got through that. And then one more race I wanted to preview today. The Sleeping Giant Trail Races in Hamden, Connecticut. They have a 50K and a 25K. It looks like this is a newer event, okay? The first sentence of this ultra sign up had me intrigued. It said, the Sleeping Giant Trail Runs will be one of the toughest, gnarliest races in the Northeast. Okay, yep. Say no more. Considered one of the more iconic parks and popular trail running hiking spots in Connecticut, it offers every kind of trail imaginable, 30 plus miles in the park, rocky, windy, single track, beast course, 3,000 feet of vert and a 25K loop. Wouldn't say it's the gnarliest, but it's pretty good, especially for Connecticut. That is pretty good. If you think you can handle 2 loops, then it's a 50K. In comparison to our difficulty, Macedonia Trail Race 25K, this will be harder. With 250 registered entrants, this one is a popular event. Don't miss out. So there's actually a ton of people signed up for this. So I will say this is super popular. Just looking at it has the 2025 results. I see Justin Kowski's name up there. Anytime I see Justin Kowski's name, I take notice. I take watch. I think he's from Connecticut, but he's just a stud. So we got a good time to look at. He did in 5:12, the 50K. So This is the race. It's happening Sunday, March 29th. So you're listening to this. It's going to happen next weekend. And there is currently 111 people signed up for the 50K and 130 people signed up for the 25K. Wait, this is pulling huge crowds. This was not on my radar. This is why we're doing this, folks. We're going to get every race in. So what is jumping out for me on this ultra sign up list? 50K. So we'll start with the 50K. I see a 100% age rank, 94% age rank, 20 to 25, Darius Parker from Heinsberg, Vermont, which fit people come from Vermont. Okay, so he came in second in the Vermont 50K last year. That's his only result. So when you see those high rankings, you got to see how many results they have. Sometimes they have a bunch, sometimes they don't. Okay, my lighting just went a little bit dimmer because it's probably not charged. And also, I have no lights in here, guys. I'm moving out. I meant to say that at the beginning of this. I'm out of here. So I have no lights. I have no couch. There's nothing in here. But again, most people are just listening to this, so we're gonna just keep going here. Peter Benito's on this list, guys. Peter Benito, 31. Oh, does Ultra Sign Up say how many results you have now? Is that a new feature? Peter Benito. Oh, no, I don't think that's a new feature. 31 results. He's a 95 age rank, 90%. People know Peter Benito. He's a crusher. I mean, yeah, just go. This guy's just crushed a lot of races fast, puts up lots of miles. He's in this race, so this will be exciting to watch. Chase Smith, he's got a bunch of results from Stanford, Connecticut. Ooh, he signed up for Javelina this year. He came in 5th in the Vermont 100 last year. He won the Above the Clouds 50K Ultra in Colorado. He's run canyons. Okay, he ran in canyons in 2025. The 50K, he came in 28th, and that's like a super competitive race. Grindstone by UTMB, 100K, 10th in 2024. So this guy's a crusher. He's fast. Anything else jumping out the page? It's going to be hard to go through these results, but I'll just see okay, so I'm seeing Tom Stardage. He ran the Jigger Johnson 100 with me the opening year, so that's just always respect. Somebody on here has 292 results. Chris Pabina. Who is this guy? He's 49. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. If you guys saw what I was seeing right now. Oh my gosh. Who is this guy? He's just, I mean, oh my gosh. He's just crushing races. He's run 4 races already in 2026. Last year he ran, oh my gosh. Now, these aren't all these are mostly ultras, 50, 25K, 50 miler, 60. This was his last year's December. On the 6th, he ran a 60 miler. On the 13th, he ran a 50 miler. The day after, he ran a 25K. The next weekend, he ran a 50 miler, and that was December. No, I mean, he's just running multiple ultras every single month for the last few years. Yeah, he's 49, 48. I'm still on 48, guys. I wish I could count up how many ultras this guy's done. All right, we'll scroll all the way to the bottom. He started so 37 is his first. It's always when you see someone with 292 results, they have a long DNF list. But in shell, nothing in comparison to how many they've done. So he started running ultras when he was 37, and over the course of 12 years, he's signed up for 333 events. That's 30 a year, 2 or 3 every month. This guy loves ultras. Chris Pabion from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yeah, nobody else. Oh, Debbie Livingston. Debbie Livingston is in this race, guys. Oh, Debbie Livingston. She has 169 races. We did a little Debbie Livingston deep dive on the FKT episode. And I think I realized I saw her ultra sign up and just started freaking out. So we did a little we read her website, but she's a crusher. She's been doing this forever. She's still super fast. She's won a ton of huge races. She's in it. So this race is just absolutely stacked. Totally stacked. And then there's a bunch of people with no results. You never know. There's always going to be 1 or 2 real fast people in there. You never know if they don't have results. All right, we'll go over to the 25K. Yeah, I think the I don't know no names jumping out at me, but there's a handful of people in the 95+% age rank. David Martin, Colin Gibbons, Daniel Ragazzo, Chris Sinaza, Jack Kozian. Those are just some of the top people. Yeah, they don't do gender on here, so I don't know the females, but I guess I can sort by male and female. Yeah, we'll get the hang of this. And then female, a couple. Wait, oh my God, there's a bunch of 100% female in this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 with 100%, a bunch of 90s. Okay, because the way that they do the entry list, the female is based on like the course record is how they list things in the ultra sign up. So, all right, so we're filtering by female here. Jolie Mooney, Brittany Telke, Siri Bohakam. Siri is her name. That's crazy. From New Haven, Connecticut. Shout out University of New Haven, my alma mater. I did an online master's program there. So yeah, this, like I said, and then Debbie Livingston, we already. Oh, that was a 50K. Sorry. Get your head in the game, Andrew. Get your head in the game. What are you doing? So that was the results, or the oh my gosh, guys, this is falling apart. And my light shut off. This is falling apart. Oh, and this desk is super shaky, so the camera's been shaking. Please, I hope nobody watched the last 20 minutes. No, so it's a bit, Sleeping Giant trail runs in Connecticut. This is intriguing. I'm very intrigued by this race, so we'll see how the results go. A ton of people signed up for that race, so it's going to be definitely really competitive. And that was the race preview. Race previews and results for this week. Like I said, this is the new format. We're gonna do every ultra marathon in New England. Hopefully I don't miss any this year at the end. And it will kind of just be this, like me learning about it, how I go through the ultra sign up list, like what jumps out at me. This is not going to be a professional preview. I'm going to snub a lot of people, but hopefully I'm shouting out way more people than I'm snubbing. You know what I mean? That's the hope. And yeah, that's pretty much what we got. So the trail season's coming around. I also am like making sure, like, okay, I need to figure out a way to cover this, because we've only had a couple races so far, and it's about to get nutty. Like May, June, July, August, September, there's tons of races. So every week I'm going to be doing this. Like right now I previewed, you're going to be listening to this during the week. So I previewed the upcoming weekend's races. I talked about results from a week and a half ago, but it's going to be hard, like if I get this podcast out on Sundays, to do race results from Saturday and or Sunday, because I don't post them. So I think ultimately the results are going to be lagging a little bit, which I think honestly is fine. I think the previews are probably more exciting. Anything big, like any big results, I'll just talk about up front in the episodes. And then hopefully by previewing all of the races, if you're interested, you want to see the results in real time, like most of these races are on social media, so go to their Instagram, Facebook, and that'll be, the stories will probably tell like the winners and all that stuff. So so this will be the new format. If I miss anything, if you guys have any tips or anything you want to send in, like, hey, you're missing this race, or hey, we got to cover this, or hey, you missed this, send them in and I'll add it to the list. I got a big Google sheet right now of all these races. Send me any more races or info or fun things I'm missing and should be talking about. So that's it for this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Peace.